My girlfriend lied about birth control to trap me into fatherhood. So I got a lawyer, fought for truth, and left her reputation in pieces publicly. I'm a 24-year-old guy, and for a while, I honestly thought I had it all figured out. A steady job, a decent apartment, and a girlfriend I was head over heels for. Her name was Lexi. She was everything I wasn't. Loud, magnetic, charming in a way that made people stop mid-conversation just to look at her. I was quieter, more grounded. She'd always joke that I was her calm in the storm, and I liked that. It made me feel useful, needed. We met at a friend's rooftop party, one of those summer nights where the city lights blur into the stars and everyone feels a little more alive than usual. She wore this green silk dress that clung to her like it had been sewn onto her body. She asked me for a drink. Me, the guy who usually fades into the background. I thought I had won some cosmic lottery. Things moved fast, too fast maybe. Within 3 months, she had a drawer at my place. 6 months in, we were talking about the future, the kind with houseplants, dogs, and joint Spotify playlists. And at around the 9-month mark, she told me she was going off birth control. It messes with my hormones, she said one night, curled into me under my blanket. I've been feeling foggy and bloated all the time. I want to feel like myself again. I hesitated. But we'll be careful, she added quickly. I trust you. I just want to trust my body too. I was in love. Maybe stupidly so. But I didn't want her to feel like I didn't trust her. So I nodded, kissed her forehead. And that was that. I didn't know it then, but that night would be the beginning of a trap I'd never seen coming, and it started tightening faster than I could imagine. At first, I chalked it up to love, the clinginess, the constant need to know where I was. I figured it was just passion. Lexi texted me nonstop throughout the day. If I didn't reply within 10 minutes, I'd get a "I" or a passive-aggressive, "Guess you're too busy for me now?" I thought it was cute. Thought maybe she just really missed me. I mean, who wouldn't want to be wanted like that? But slowly it became harder to breathe. She didn't like me spending time with my friends anymore, said they were bad influences, especially my best friend Aaron. He's still stuck in his single phase, she'd say. You're not like him anymore, babe. You've grown. She made it sound like a compliment, like I was maturing, but in reality, I was shrinking. The control wasn't loud, it was subtle. The way she'd pout if I mentioned a female coworker. The way she'd suddenly get sick whenever I had plans without her. Or how she'd start crying and say, I just want us to be closer, but you always want space. I started canceling plans, not because she told me to, but because the drama that followed wasn't worth it. The guilt, the tears, the silent treatment, and then came the baby talk. More frequent, more casual. You'd be such a good dad, she'd whisper while tracing circles on my chest. I can already see it. Our little girl would have your eyes. I'd laugh it off at first, joke that I wasn't ready to raise a plant, let alone a kid. But she'd go quiet, distant, like I'd disappointed her. You're scared of love, that's all, she told me one night. But it's okay. I'll love enough for both of us. It sounded romantic then. It sounds terrifying now, and I should have seen the next part coming. But I didn't. I'll never forget the way she said it. We were eating takeout on the couch, chicken lo mein for me, spring rolls for her. She barely touched her food, just kept staring down at her lap. I asked what was wrong. She stayed silent for a few seconds, then whispered, I think I'm pregnant. My chopsticks froze midair. What? I asked, not sure I heard her right. She looked up, her eyes already glassy. I'm late, and I feel different. My boobs hurt, I've been nauseous, and I just know. A pit opened in my stomach. I didn't yell, didn't accuse. I just blinked and said, I thought you said we were being careful. She immediately got defensive. Oh my God, are you blaming me? Seriously? You think I wanted this right now? I'm not blaming you, I said carefully. I'm just confused. You said we'd be careful, and we were, she snapped, then broke into tears. You don't even believe me. You think I planned this? Do you think I'm that kind of girl? I felt like I'd just stepped on a landmine. Any wrong word and I'd be painted as the villain. So I held her, rubbed her back, said all the things a good boyfriend is supposed to say. I'm here for you. We'll figure it out. I love you. But inside, I was spiraling. That night, as she fell asleep in my bed, curled into me like a child, I stared at the ceiling and couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The timeline, the emotion, the way she delivered the news with trembling perfection. I didn't know if she was pregnant. I didn't know if I was ready. I just knew something felt rehearsed, and the very next week she'd drop a demand that made everything worse. A week after the pregnancy bombshell, Lexi dropped another. She wanted to get married, not in the distant future. Not after the baby, now. I'm not having a child out of wedlock, she said firmly, arms crossed, eyes narrowed like she was daring me to argue. My parents would lose it. And honestly, I just want our baby to be born into a real family. It wasn't a conversation, it was an ultimatum. I told her I needed time to process, that this was all happening fast. But Lexi didn't hear me. She twisted my hesitation into rejection. So you want our kid to be a bastard? She snapped. You want me to walk around with a ringless finger, pregnant and alone? The emotional blackmail hit hard. I hated how easily she made me feel like the bad guy. Still, I tried to slow things down. I asked again, gently, how this happened if we were being careful. And that's when I noticed something. Her story changed. First, she said she missed one pill. Then later, she said the pills had just stopped working. A few days later, she claimed she hadn't been on them for months because of migraines. All different versions, none of them lining up. Then, while cleaning the bathroom, I found a brand new pack of birth control pills, unopened, shoved behind the sink cabinet. The date on the box was from 3 months ago. My chest tightened. I didn't confront her right away. I needed to be sure. I needed more than suspicion. But in that moment, I knew one thing for certain. Something wasn't adding up. And if she was lying about this, what else had she been lying about? I didn't say anything to Lexi about the pills. Not yet. But the unease was crawling under my skin like fire ants. I started pulling away, just a little, canceling dinner plans, taking longer to respond to her texts. I needed space to think, but even that came at a cost. She accused me of being cold, distant. Said pregnancy was changing everything and I needed to step up. Then Aaron called me. He was blunt, like always. You need to talk to Jess. Like, now. Jess was a mutual friend, kind of in both of our circles, but more mine. Aaron sent me a screenshot. It was a DM from Jess, dated 2 weeks before Lexi told me she was pregnant. Lexi's been talking about getting pregnant on purpose. Said she's tired of playing games and wants a real commitment. Said she'd figure it out if you didn't propose. I stared at the screen, my pulse thumping in my ears. Aaron said, Bro, I didn't want to believe it either, but she's been planting this idea for months. Everyone thought it was just talk. I wanted to believe there was another explanation, that maybe Jess misunderstood, that maybe Lexi said it as a joke and it was taken out of context. But deep down, I knew. I had ignored every red flag, dismissed every instinct, because I wanted to believe she loved me. I still didn't confront her. Not yet, because now I wasn't just scared she was lying, I was scared I was already too deep in to get out clean. I made the call the next morning. Found a quiet corner in the parking garage at work and dialed a family attorney. I didn't even know what to ask, really, just, how do I protect myself if I think I was manipulated into fatherhood? She didn't laugh. She didn't judge. She just said one thing, get everything in writing. And when the baby's born, get a DNA test. No exceptions. That advice sank into me like cold water. When I got home that night, Lexi was on the couch, rubbing her stomach and watching nursery videos on YouTube. I sat beside her and tried to sound calm. I want to be involved. Fully. But when the baby's born, I think we should do a DNA test. Just for peace of mind, she didn't even blink. She exploded. You think I'm cheating on you? Is that what this is? She shouted. How dare you even say that to me while I'm carrying your child? I'm not accusing you, I said quietly. I just want to make sure everything's on solid ground. No, you're accusing me. You think I'm some slut who trapped you. Wow, I cannot believe this. She stormed out that night, dragging a duffel bag, screaming that I'd destroyed everything. She went to her mom's, blocked my number, posted some vague, pity-driven story about how she was doing this alone now. My phone blew up with messages from her friends, most of whom I didn't even know that well, telling me I was disgusting. A coward, a manipulator. I didn't respond. I just opened a new folder on my laptop and titled it, Evidence, because this wasn't love anymore. This was war. The silence didn't last long. A few days after Lexi blocked me, the storm came. She went public on Facebook, a long emotional post with a photo of her holding her tiny baby bump. The caption read, "Doing this alone. Betrayed, but stronger for it. My baby will know what real love looks like." Within hours, people I hadn't spoken to in years were DMing me things like, "Wow, man. Really?" And "Didn't think you had it in you." She didn't tag me, but she didn't need to. Everyone knew who she meant. The comments poured in. Supportive, angry, damning. She was painting me as the guy who bailed the second things got real. Meanwhile, I kept quiet. Let her spin whatever narrative she needed. But I kept collecting screenshots of her post. Text messages. The unopened pill pack, which I photographed and time-stamped. I even started journaling everything I could remember, every inconsistency, every conversation where she hinted at pregnancy like it was a goal. My lawyer was clear. Don't engage. Don't post. Don't confront. Just prepare, and I did. Quietly. Methodically. I reached out to a paternity testing center and got pre-authorization lined up for when the baby arrived. My attorney filed preliminary paperwork to ensure I had rights when the time came, and that Lexi couldn't legally shut me out. But the worst part? I missed her. Even with all the chaos and betrayal, I missed the version of her I thought I knew. The late-night talks, the sleepy kisses, the illusion of forever. But every time I opened that evidence folder, I reminded myself, that version never existed. And then, the baby was born, and she didn't even tell me. I found out through Instagram. Lexi's cousin posted a picture, tiny feet wrapped in a pink hospital blanket with a caption that said, "She's finally here." Welcome, baby hope. I stared at my phone like someone had punched me in the chest. No text, no call, no message, just a post. I sat there numb while the comments rolled in. Hearts. Congrats! She's beautiful. Lexi's going to be the best mom. And I, the supposed father, was watching it unfold like a stranger. I sent the screenshot to my lawyer. She didn't waste time. By the end of the day, Lexi had been served. Court-ordered DNA test. Paternity hearing scheduled. She tried to dodge it, filed a request to delay, claimed she was emotionally unfit to deal with legal stress postpartum, but the court didn't buy it. Weeks passed. The test was done, swab, chain of custody. Signed and sealed, and then came the results. I was the father. I don't even know how to describe the flood of emotions that hit me. Relief because I finally knew. Fury because she had spent months painting me as the villain while knowing the truth. And most of all, heartbreak. Because now I was tethered to someone who had lied, manipulated, and tried to erase me. But it didn't end there. While going through records, my lawyer found something unexpected. Lexi had filed a similar claim 3 years ago. Same story. Same tactics. Another man, same timeline. He had walked away, quietly, paid child support, never looked back. She had done this before. And suddenly, I realized I wasn't just the victim, I was her pattern, and now I had a choice to make. Stay silent like the last guy, or fight like hell. I didn't go on a social media rant. Didn't post screenshots, didn't write some long, setting the record straight caption. I just stopped protecting her. I gave Jess permission to talk. Aaron, too. I shared the court documents with a few close friends, the ones who had silently judged me. Screenshots of texts, the DNA results, the legal filings, her messages to me. No commentary. Just the facts. It spread faster than I expected. Within days, the whispers started turning into comments. People who had once defended her were quietly deleting their posts. Her baby bump photos, the ones that got hundreds of likes, suddenly filled with question marks and "wait, what happened" replies. Then the brands started pulling out. Lexi had been trying to become a momfluencer, posting curated bump shots, baby hauls, wellness tips. She had a few local brands lined up for collabs. I don't know if they heard from someone or just saw the shift in public opinion, but the partnerships vanished. She stopped posting for a while. When she came back, it was just pictures of the baby. No captions, no hashtags. Just silence wrapped in filters. I didn't feel victorious. Not really. There's no joy in watching someone unravel, even when they did everything to deserve it. But I wasn't going to clean up her mess anymore. I had stayed quiet out of love. Then I stayed quiet out of fear. Now I was just done staying quiet, and right when I thought the damage was over, she came to my door with the baby and one more plea. She showed up unannounced. It was raining. Not hard. Just that steady, annoying drizzle that makes everything feel heavier. I opened the door and there she was, holding the baby in one arm, mascara smudged, soaked hoodie clinging to her shoulders. She didn't say anything at first. Just stood there, eyes wide, like I was supposed to crumble at the sight. "I'm sorry," she finally whispered. "I messed everything up. I just wanted a family. I let her in. I wasn't heartless." The baby, Hope, looked up at me with those huge eyes. Mine. No denying it. I held her for the first time and everything inside me twisted. She was innocent, pure, a blank slate born from a calculated lie. Lexi sat on the couch and started crying again, talking about how she'd been attacked online, how she was losing followers, losing friends, how her life was falling apart. "But we can still fix this," she said.
"We can raise her together."
"Get married. Show everyone we're stronger than the hate." I stared at her and asked flatly, "Did you trap me on purpose?" She didn't answer right away. "Just look down at her hands. I knew you wouldn't leave if there was a baby," she muttered. "I loved you so much. I didn't want to lose you." There it was, the truth. And yet, even in confession, she blamed love for what was ultimately manipulation. I handed Hope back gently. "You don't get to use love as a weapon," I said. Lexi's face hardened. The tears dried up. "If you walk away now," she hissed, "I'll make custody hell for you." I didn't flinch. I just hit record on my phone and said, "Go ahead, try." And I meant it. After that night, I stopped playing defense. Every voicemail, every angry text, every guilt-laced message from Lexi, I saved it. Every threat, every attempt to twist the narrative back into her favor, documented. My lawyer built the file like a fortress. We didn't just want access. We wanted protection. When I filed for shared custody, Lexi fought back hard. Claimed I was unstable, emotionally abusive, a danger to the baby. She presented curated screenshots, cropped texts, and half-truths like they were gospel. But we had more than screenshots. We had full conversations, audio recordings, timeline inconsistencies, witness statements. Jess testified. Aaron submitted a statement. And then, in a twist I never saw coming, the other guy came forward. The one she tried this with before. He had seen her social posts, heard about the court battle through mutuals, and contacted my lawyer. He told the court how she'd used the same tactics. Sudden pregnancy, pressure for marriage, emotional blackmail, isolation, then public shaming. The courtroom went still when he finished. Lexi tried to cry. The tears didn't land this time. The judge reviewed everything, then granted me joint legal custody with a strict parenting plan. But there was more. Lexi was banned from posting the baby's photos or using her for brand deals without my written consent. No momfluencer exploitation. No monetizing our daughter's life for sympathy clicks. She walked out of that courtroom with her head down. I walked out with something more valuable than pride. I walked out with truth. With a future for my daughter that didn't involve manipulation and lies, and for the first time since this nightmare started, I felt like I could finally breathe. But there was still one thing I hadn't done. Something just for me. The first time I took Hope for a weekend on my own, I cried. Not because I was overwhelmed, but because it felt pure. There were no screaming matches. No guilt games. Just her soft coos, the way her tiny fingers wrapped around mine, the gentle weight of her sleeping on my chest. In that quiet, I realized I didn't just win a custody battle. I reclaimed peace. We built a routine. Mornings with music. Afternoon walks. Diaper changes that felt like NASCAR pit stops. And every time she looked up at me with trust, I knew I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Lexi tried a few more tactics. Subtle jabs, passive-aggressive texts, a few vague posts about absent fathers, but they didn't land anymore. I didn't respond. Not once. I didn't need revenge. Her lies unraveled themselves the moment I stepped away from her story and started telling my own. I joined a support group for single dads. Shared my story. Listened to theirs. Realized I wasn't alone. Some had it worse. Some were still in the middle of it. But all of us had one thing in common. We were fighting to be seen, heard, respected. One night, I printed out a photo of Hope and framed it on my nightstand. Just her smiling. No filters, no drama. Just the raw, real proof of something good born from something awful. She doesn't know it yet, but she saved me. From a life of manipulation. From a woman who thought love was control. From a version of myself that didn't know how to say no. Now I say it easily. Because I'm not just a father, I'm free. And that's the story I'll tell her one day, when she's ready.